Hello everyone, my name is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. My channel is where we talk fiction, friends, and fun. Today it's another question and answer session with the BookTuber. This is another interview that came out of a live, and I wanted to repurpose it and put it here for any and all to enjoy. I hope this series continues to bring value to people. I believe that when we talk about how channels started, what their challenges are, what their struggles are, what their future vision is for their channel, I hope it brings value. I hope it continues to bring value to anyone that is interested in starting a channel, anyone that has an existing channel, or for anyone that's just interested in BookTube. We had a great time during this interview. I hope you enjoy it. I'll hand it over to myself. All right, I'm going to bring Courtney over. Hi, Courtney.
Hello, MJ.
How are you?
Everyone in the chats.
So good to see you.
You too, Miss Lady. It's been a while.
I know. This is awesome. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on. I think we get a lot of positive feedback when we do these interviews from people that may have questions about BookTube, want to know about other BookTubers' experience, and I think these are really beneficial. So I love polling my friends to see if anybody wants to come on and do the little Q&A. So thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start from the beginning. So tell us the background of your channel. How did it come about?
Well, let's see. So I've been on BookTube for about a year now, and I've always read. And I'm always struggling to find someone that I can, discuss my books with, because, it's only so much the husband wants to hear, And I was just surfing YouTube one day, and I was like, what is this book community? How have I not known about this? And that was my brainstorm, about it. And I was like, okay, it's nice to have a community of people that are like-minded, get some good recommendations, because I was just pulling out of the hat, cherry picking for a while. And, it's been a nice time.
Yeah. Awesome. So your channel's been on for over a year. So tell us about like a vision. Did you have a vision for your channel when you first started dreaming it up?
Okay, in reality, probably like a bunch of other booktubers, I thought I would go out, put on some content, and people would just flock, be like, hey, Courtney, let's discuss all these books you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that did not happen. It was like, does anybody know I exist? And that persisted for quite a while. But that was my vision that, I was in La La Land, and it didn't happen that way. I realized that I needed to kind of, reach out to people and engage other people. So my vision was just to just be this person that people was like, looking for, well, maybe not recommendation, but people that, enjoyed watching like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things that I had to kind of put myself in check on. But I also wanted to work on public speaking a bit. Mm-hmm. And, and I'm still struggling with that, but that was also another vision for my channel of helping me to speak better in public. Because, I like to talk, a lot of us love to talk, and that's fine. But saying things in a slowing down fashion and where people can understand and thinking things clearly is something that, I've always kind of struggled with, but, I wanted to have some fun. And I felt that as I got more into my channel after a few months, I realized that the other vision I wanted for my channel, besides being seen, of course, everybody wants to be seen and heard and understood, but it was also add a little bit more diversity to BookTube, because that was one of the things I realized that was maybe kind of lacking, of having different faces and different type books. So that's definitely something I'm still going along with.
Absolutely. I will tell you, we've known each other for almost a year, I guess. Your personality shines through your channel so strong. Like when I see that you are on a live stream, I gotta pop in. I gotta get that shot of Courtney. It's just fabulous. Like
join the chaos.
Yes.
That's what I call it.
Yes. Your energy carries through, which is awesome.
That is me.
So your vision for your channel when you first started, how about your vision now? Like, where do you see your channel developing?
I would like to get into more. I mean, of course, I want to get more ingrained into the community. I've met a lot of really great people. So I want to continue developing those relationships and, getting to know more people. I would like to diversify my channel a little bit more, bring in more people that, I can profile a little bit more. I definitely would like that because I joined your community. I joined of other few communities that I think helped elevate me and, give me a lot more self-confidence in BookTube and, and grow my subscribership as well. So I would like to do that for others.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all have to, everybody that has a channel, you don't want to stay in like this maintenance mode. You always want to have like a vision about, okay, what could I do next? Where can I go next? Because it's all about the growth, right?
Yes. And you got to try different things. And I've done that. I feel like if there's something that I'm doing on my channel that I don't feel like serves me, either I'm not feeling the content I'm putting out, I'm not passionate about it, and I feel like my channel is about me, whether I get people that come and view it or not, it's about me. But I also do want people to resonate and enjoy the content. I mean, I'm not on BookTube just for me for zero, engagement. So that's another thing. So I kind of skirt that line between what I enjoy and, what are people enjoying from me, and that feedback. So I'm always trying new things, and like I do my memoir things, what I absolutely love. If y'all have not checked out my channel, I profile like different memoirs and nonfiction every now and then. And, I put a funny take on it. I've always been a lighthearted person, and I like to make sure that my content is, a little bit more lighthearted. I think I was very heavy for a little bit. So now I'm trying to skirt it.
I didn't think you were too heavy. I thought you were just right. So let's talk about obstacles. So what type of obstacles or challenges did you experience when your channel first started?
Well, I'm one of those people that I have always skated around social media. I've just never been a big fan, it's one of those things to where I've always been apprehensive of putting myself out there, especially face to face with judgment and things like that. I've encountered that a lot in my life. So I was apprehensive about that. And also, putting your personal life out there, identity theft and all. I've known some people, I tell you. So, so I felt like one of the challenges when I did decide to break into BookTube is the idea of I'm an unknown. And I'm putting videos, and that's part of putting out videos, but it's who's going to watch them? How do I draw an audience? How do I connect with people out there? Because it's about putting out videos, but I also want to connect with people, just put out a video, but that doesn't really, is anybody watching it? Am I getting feedback,
Right.
And so I felt like that was one of my biggest challenges of being seen and being heard and being understood. And it took me a while to try to delve into realizing that, hey, people see who I am and give me some feedback. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges. Also, just kind of filming and editing. I mean, it's a chore, I tell you. Like, it's not an easy process for people to just look from the outside of, oh, I just got together and say, hey, here's this book. It is awesome. This is what this is about. That is not as easy as people make it seem, So I had definitely a challenge of time and effort, I tell you, of just being comfortable with that and saying what I want to say about it, because I always forget stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when people first undergo starting a channel, the amount of time that goes into not just the filming, but it's the whole thumbnail thing and the editing and the description and all that. Like, time adds up, you know, and there really is, like, when you experience it a few times, you start, you know, getting used to it. But it's a planning thing too, you know, especially, you know, you work, I work, we try and fit this hobby into our lives as best as we can. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I miss a day for a video. Sometimes I'll batch film. It just depends as to, you know, how comfortable you are, how you feel that day. There's a lot that goes into it. But I think when people watch these replays, they're like, wow, I didn't, you know, I just click and watch the video. Sometimes they don't understand exactly like what goes into planning a video.
It's almost like a job sometimes, you know, like I'll tell my husband, hey, I'm filming, you know, and he already knows about another hour or so. You know, it is a lot of a chore. You know, editing software definitely helps. I enjoy good editing software. I commend people in the community that can just, hey, this is blah, 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 click upload. Like,
yeah,
that is not me. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I will say for the most part, I edit a lot, but you know, every once in a while I have that day where I'm just rocking and I'm like, I'm putting it out there and I'm like, you know what? That's pretty good. No editing. Even a short sometimes takes me a while.
Yeah.
A short may take five films, you know, even though, you know, it is a chore, but I enjoy the end product. I mean, I hope that resonates with other people, but when it comes to me personally, I enjoy an end product.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, no matter how much I edited it, you know, or reviewed it, because I get sick of looking at myself sometimes. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
it's a wrap, whatever it is. If I slurred some words, I'm done. But, you know, I like that end product because it's the idea that I put that out there. I enjoyed myself. I enjoy my books.
Yeah.
You know, and I read a lot, but I enjoy the product that I've been able to produce from the personal reading that I took my time and effort to read. And I really like that a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of my philosophies, and I'm sure you might share in that too, is I want to make videos I would want to watch. You know,
that is true. That is true. And sometimes I wish I could make, like, sometimes I'll look at other BookTube videos and I'm like, darn, I wish I could do that, but that's not me. Yeah. I see some really great videos and I was like, I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and watch yours.
I asked this of everyone. Do you ever go back and watch your old videos?
I do every once in a while. I primarily watch my live streams. 11 a.m. EST, y'all, Tuesdays.
Right.
But I watch my live streams probably a lot more than my own video because it's me live. So I like to see what I can improve on. Or, you know, like I said, I'm working on my public speaking. I tend to talk fast and slur words at times, you know, and I can be a bit quirky. There's me. My lights are like, people are like, what did you just say? You know, so some people like it, some people don't. So sometimes, you know, you get a little bit self-conscious about, did I say something? Because I don't edit lives. It's just too much work. It's a few hours. It's not worth it. To me, that's your genuine. I mean, I'm me no matter what. I'm genuine. I'm authentic. It either resonates with people or they don't. It is what it is. I lose subscribers. I gain subscribers. It happens almost every other day. I lose some, I gain some. It is what it is, you know. But the raw, authentic, in your face, right there, Courtney is on a live screen. So the chaos is who I am without any edits, you know. I like an edited version, and you know, where I can kind of artistically put things together. That's what I think of edited videos. Yeah. But I also like that live stream where you can sit there and just look at me and talk to me and who I am and get to know that person as well. So
yeah, I like to go back to like a year and see what video I posted a year ago and see changes in, you know, how I speak, my mannerisms, all that. How comfortable am I in front of the camera? Those are the things that I like to gauge to see how much I've grown. And then usually after I'll just speed through and I'll watch one. I'll feel so confident and then I'll just like crack out like a great video, you know?
Oh, I can't say I crack out a great video, but I will. I
Old
don't know. Huh?
After watching an old one.
Yeah, that's true. You're like, yeah, I killed it.
That's right. That's right.
I did was it last month? When did I start BookTube? I think I started BookTube in the beginning of March of last year. So I will say last year was the first time that I went back through and I watched like 2 or 3 videos from like when I first started. And then I watched like 1 or 2 from the middle. And then I watched like a few of my last ones, and to do exactly what you just did, just to see how far I've grown. Yeah. And my husband actually came behind me and he was like, you are so different from when you started. Mm-hmm. And it's true. You know, I notice I edit less. Like when I first started, I was all over the place. You know, I knew kind of what I wanted to read, but trying to put that into a formula, kind of what I felt like served me and what I wanted to do on BookTube was another story. But editing, I noticed I have like a lot of cuts in between there because you can only edit what you film. And I'm not a big fan of going back and refilming stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And it took me forever back in the day. Now I do a little bit better. I do like a little, I won't say it's a full script, but I do little talking points. Okay. And I feel like that helps me a whole lot more when I'm editing, so it's not taking all day. Because, you know, your girl had a lot more time. When I started my BookTube, I was on a like a little mini vacation at home, so I had a lot of time. I don't have that time anymore. So no.
Time management skills is huge.
Exactly. But you know, but I'm also a lot more comfortable in front of the camera, and you know, I film a little bit different in different places and stuff. So I just think you know, I've grown. So I definitely see what you're talking about.
Yeah. I can't wait for your outdoor lives to come up again when you do your I know. Yeah, that's a good vibe. I like watching those for sure.
I love the summertime. It is my favorite time of the year. And in reality, if you come to my house between May and probably September and October, if I'm not working and I've done all my chores, I am outside on my deck. Mm-hmm. So I know that some people don't like filming outside because of all the different sounds and stuff. I like nature sound. I have a huge backyard with a bunch of crap in it, so it's always birds chirping. I didn't realize this till someone pointed it out, that I am on, I mean, I'm definitely more than 20 miles from the airport, but I'm still along some pathway. So there's planes around. Sometimes it's more than others. I don't care anymore. This is me. You get me. You're getting some planes. I love being outside. So deck day sprint. Ooh, I'm hitting this table. Deck day sprints are coming soon.
Nice. We should join up. I'll do a patio sprint and you can do a deck sprint and we'll buddy up for it.
That would be cool because your area is awesome too. Okay, that works. I like that idea.
All right. So what do you think is the best piece of advice you have learned from another booktuber, you gleaned from another booktuber, anything like that? Has any booktuber made a huge influence on you?
I won't say a huge influence, but I mean, I take a little bit from all the people that I listen to, but I will say the best piece of advice I've ever gotten is to enjoy your books and protect your psyche.
Yes.
That's the most, and that was Capri's Book Island. And it was an amazing piece of material because people either resonate with your material or not. Some people are biased against you based off of just maybe who you look like, what books you're writing or you're reading. You know, it's no telling. It's social media. Social media in its best form is still a very judgmental piece. Okay, it is what it is. Right. And we are here to read books. And to me, not everybody does that. So I try not to judge, you know, we all do. But, you know, I try not to judge people so much about what they're reading. And I show support to people whether I enjoy what they're reading or not. And I want people to be part of the community and to enjoy what they're doing and allow me to do the same.
Absolutely.
So I appreciated the advice that she said to protect your psyche, because it's just like subscriberships. They kind of come and they go. Some people's channel continually grow, and then others kind of go in that stagnant mode. Like not everybody's gonna shoot up to success. And I get that. So to me, I stopped worrying about like numbers and about what people have said about what it is I read or what I put out, because you always have something that somebody has to say about, know. And so I don't worry so much about what other people say. Right. And also another piece of advice I will say was from Castle Library. Her name's Princess. She stated reading and opinions are subjective. Yes. And that sounds really nuts, but I mean simple, but it was in relation to a video that I put out into a response. Like this was years ago by her, and I have an opinion and so did she, but I was newer on BookTube. It gave me just a different, for one, it was the first time I actually had like legit feedback from another BookTuber. And that's part of BookTube for me is I don't want to just put out a video or talk. I want feedback. Yeah. And it was nice to actually get legit feedback of something to think about and something real. And I thought about that. We all have an opinion. And it wasn't me like judging a video about her. It was just the idea of like, I commented on part of a video that she put out. She said, hey, if anybody had feedback. So I gave feedback. It was just a different perspective. Yeah. But it kind of made me rethink my perspective in how I was looking at a book. And I was like, what? That's right. So I use that a lot. Reading is subjective and so is your opinion.
Absolutely. The one thing that I always say, it's kind of like a mantra to myself, is comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh yeah.
Don't compare yourself to anyone. You do you, keep doing you, and whatever happens is going to happen. And that's it, and that's helped me so much throughout my time on BookTube.
Yeah. You definitely got to kind of put a wall up between that. I think it's natural to compare and judge. Like I'm very much a realist in life. Okay. Really am. But it's natural for certain things to be like, oh, look at that or whatever, but it's the idea that I commend people for the things that they do, and the books that they read. It's just like an author writing like I recently read a book where it was another author reviewing the other person's book, and they said, I wish I would have wrote this book, and it's nice that they were able to kind of recognize that, hey, that was a kick-ass book. It was awesome, but at the same time, that's not you, but it is nice to look at stuff and to be appreciative of other people for being able to put out some content or gain subscribers or talk a certain way or to resonate more with people. I think it's difficult when I feel like people can put out the same content, right? But get totally different responses. You can even use the same word. You have to accept that when you are on BookTube or any social media for that matter. Different people resonate differently. So you have to really accept that and just hone in. And that's where that realism come in and putting yourself in check,
Yes.
I've seen videos where people are complaining about subscribership and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to serve you well. So if I talk about subscribership or other people, I'm giving publicity to other people. Let's just say that, but I'm not like, I try not to drag. And that's kind of where one of those things of me trying to be seen and heard and understood kind of comes from, because, it's social media. People take things the way that they want. Right. But sometimes you don't have the words to adequately explain yourself. And sometimes it comes off as kind of like haterade at times. And I won't say I haven't done some haterade, but at the same time, I want people to understand exactly what I'm trying to say. And sometimes they either want to understand it or they don't want to understand it. So my thing is, and it continues with this whole series and endeavor that I do is like, I just want to raise the positivity. You know, if I can't clap for people that I know and channels that are starting out,
that if I can't cheer for them or applaud them or clap for them, then what's the point? We have to cheer on our friends. We have to cheer on the people that we're rooting for. We have to cheer on the small channels that are just starting, that maybe have like one subscriber, and it's just that energy that I like to put forth. And I think it shows, and I think it still carries, but that's really, I'm going off tangent, but we could look at tags, right? Everybody does tags. My answers will be totally different from yours, but I completely appreciate and enjoy watching your content as well, and that's the beauty of BookTube, is that we all are bound together by books, but we all have so many different personalities and so many different takes and different experiences with those books. That makes what we do so much fun and such a great hobby.
I agree. But I think we all go into seasons about how we get to that point, and I myself have seen that kind of evolution when I come to, I can't speak. See, this part of the social media and trying to public speaking. No, but I feel like we all have a season in how we come to who we are, and that self-growth, and I've seen that in myself. I can't say that I have not been judgmental about certain things and certain content. And I enjoy everybody's content for what it's worth. Whether it's something that I can resonate with or not. Like, I'm not a big classics person, but I can appreciate people that read classics. I will sometimes just binge watch people's videos that are classics, because I'm like, I'm not reading that darn book. I sit there and I think about that. I'm not reading that book. Let me see what they got to say. Okay, now I know about it a little bit better, But I mean, it's to each his own when it comes to that. But we have to learn about how to do that. And sometimes it's not as easy, because we bring into BookTube our past experiences, and some of us might not have had really great ones. Like, I myself have known about being judged my entire life. And that was one of the things about being online, of being judged, because I've seen people, I've heard people, I've been that person myself. I mean, continue to. I mean, even books. We're judging books. I mean, it is what it is. We're like, I hated this book. I like this book, all that jazz, So it's all part of that, But at the same time, I'm not here to be the critique for every BookTube channel. Like, that's not, or the BookTube people, I'm here more, if anything, if I go to somebody's channel and say something that I'm not liking so much, it's probably more about that book. Right. Book of Night, hate it, the person that's actually talking about it. But still, it's the idea that everybody has a point of view. And I do appreciate that. I really do. Can I sit there and say I resonate with everybody's channels and that I want to watch everybody's channels and support everybody? In reality, no,
we don't have time.
I don't have time. But also, I have had some creators that I'm just like, that's not personality, book wise, overall vibe just does not jive with me. But I'm just gonna, keep moving. You have a choice of whether or not you hit that subscribe button or not,
Absolutely.
But I think the BookTube community, of all the communities that you look at on BookTube, I think it's probably one of the most positive and inclusive ones that I have seen. And I do appreciate that. I mean, we're talking about books, right? A small snippet of our society that is that ingrained that's going to read 10 books a month, or however many books you read a month, So you're going to go against that person or that community, that, maybe you shouldn't be a part of it. So,
yeah. And book people are the best people, bottom line.
I mean, we have our challenges.
We're good people,
I'm cool people. We cool people.
So, Courtney, what advice would you give to a channel that's just starting out, someone that's thinking about starting a channel? What little drops of advice would you give them?
I would say lurk, pray around BookTube first. That's something I did not do for a while. I think it would serve you best to look at a lot of video, like create your account, you know, a Google, well, you probably already have a Google account, but, you know, look at a lot of BookTube, you know, comment, like reach out to people, you know, have them kind of get to know you, get a little bit of a following of booktubers that you enjoy, that, you know, you go to their video time and again, so they're aware of who you are. Get involved in live discussions in some way, and do that for a few weeks or months, and then start your channel. That way you at least have some sort of presence without just starting fresh, because that's something I did not do, and I felt like I stressed. But, you know, I stressed when I started being a creator, because I would make a video and nobody would watch it besides my mom and my family. Shout out family. But if you were to, because like I said before, you want feedback.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fun to put out a video and put out content, especially when you put your foot in that content and nobody watched it.
Yeah.
And so if you already have a following, then you can start creating content and feel like you're getting that feedback right off. And it might make a difference in the amount of time and effort that you put into videos, learning the lesson of, oh, that didn't work for me, because you get that feedback right off. Yeah. Like I've known some people that have put out 20 videos and have like 200 or 300 subscribers already. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know? Yeah. And then I know, and some of them are people that like that I have been in communication with, and then bam, they've now, hey, I dropped my channel. You want to go watch it? I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to go watch it. You know? And so I think that makes a difference, because I put out a lot of videos for like two or three people to watch it. Yeah. And it's like, darn, I did a good job, or I thought, or if somebody would have told me, I wouldn't have done that, you know? I think that makes a big difference. But also to keep in mind, like your Support Small BookTube, I think does a big thing of letting folks know the realness of it. Yeah. Hey, this takes a bit of time. You know, it might take some money, may not, whatever. You know, hey, editing is probably, you know, something that may or may not serve you, and it may cost, you know, learning those little things up front, I think may serve someone new well. Definitely. And the person that didn't know some of those things up front, I think it definitely can serve them.
Definitely. How did it feel when you got your first subscriber? Do you remember?
I mean, it was nice. I mean, here's the thing. My first few subscribers, I love them. I appreciate them. I feel like I am blessed for every single subscriber on my channel, you know, but it was my family. My husband, my family. So I feel like they were obligated. Okay. Yeah. No, but no, when I first started getting people that subscribed that were unknown to me in my personal life is when I really felt, I would say, more validated. Yeah. Because it was nice that, because like I said, no social media. I had Facebook as a private only, so I can communicate with family that wasn't here. So nobody outside of somebody that physically knew me. Yeah. So for somebody to come over to little tangible reads, so like, oh, look at me. But it really felt good. And so, but it really felt bad for a while to me when I would have people unsubscribe too. Especially when you're low numbers, even 2 or 3 people unsubscribe and really just bites. You take it personal, but that's part of the advice I got of read your books and protect your psyche. Don't worry about other people. That's where that comes in handy. And so now it serves me, because I mean, I'm at what, 5'11" or something or whatever. It's still small in the grand scheme, but I still have people subscribe and unsubscribe all the time. Yeah. You know? So it, you know, I look at it, but I don't get offended by it. I just kind of move on, you know, and you just gotta, you know, get that into your head. Some channels continually grow and may not experience that, but you know, other channels continually have that. And I'm one of those channels that continually have subscribe and unsubscribe. You know, I get 3 and I lose 1 or 2. It's
Yeah.
really,
Everybody has that, and it could be just preference. It could be bots.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, it could be
People
bots.
closing down their YouTube account. Like, there's so many variables in it, and it comes with the hobby, you know.
It does. It does. That's why you got to just don't worry about it so much.
No.
Look at the numbers, but don't let that define you. That's one of those things I learned a while back.
Absolutely, and we all know half of the people that view our content aren't subscribed anyways.
That is true. That is true. Or most of the people, like, look at your numbers. You're at what, like 1900, right?
Something like that.
It's like, do you get 1900? Oh, no, 1,000. Hold up, 1,000? No, 100. Yeah, off my head. But anyway, do you get that many comments? No. So think about that, of the amount of people that are actually watching and commenting on a video isn't all that too. So if you have a smaller number of subscribers, then you get probably even less comments and views. So you got to kind of play that numbers game in your head. It's a psychological thing. Just you don't let it bug you. Even people with 20, 40,000 subscribers still don't get 20, 40,000 views and stuff like that. But I do think that your head space is different when you're at a higher subscriber count. Yeah. But at the same time, I have a job. I mean, I would love people to go to my channel, like, subscribe, comment, y'all. But I'm not making money off of social media by any means, and probably never will. It's a hobby. I want it to be a lucrative hobby for my time and effort. And lucrative to me means feedback and enjoyment and engagement with the people that I connect with. Yeah, that's my lucrativeness. Numbers kind of play into that because that's how you recognize, or what's the term I'm looking for? That's how you determine the people that are coming towards it, but it's not everything. So just for smaller channels, just don't get hung up on that. I do find a lot, because I speak to a lot more smaller channels than bigger channels. And I do feel that they tend to speak more about the numbers and get hung up on that. So I try to, try to offer that advice of, don't worry about that so much. It'll come or it won't come, Either way, enjoy your books. Let's talk about it.
That's it. That's it. So I know we talked about community a little bit earlier, but give us again, your feel for the community aspect of BookTube and what that means to you.
I think it's just engagement and talking to people. Like, I feel like you join this community because you enjoy books. You enjoy books in whatever form you read your book in: audio, picture books, graphics, regular books, whatever, read the label of the milk carton. It's still reading, Right. But, it's about engagement about that. And I like that. I feel like reaching out to people, supporting folks, because I think that putting out a video is one thing, but going to people's channels and watching theirs is another part of BookTube. And I think some people don't do that. Yeah. And I think that you can't expect good feedback if you're not, like, you can't expect feedback on your content if you're not providing feedback on others. Right. So I think that people in this community need to just, engage with other people, be available. Some people have more time than others, and I completely get that. But at the same time, you still need to kind of put yourself out there a little bit more than just, I put out a video. And as well as, like you said, put out content that you would like to see. So, make sure you're watching out those videos before you actually hit that upload button to make sure it's the content that you want to put out, because I have seen some errors in my video. I'm like, how did I not catch that? But I think engagement will serve people well in being able to enjoy being part of this community. It's a very good community. Like I said before, of a lot of other communities out here in the world on YouTube, I think it's one of the most benign communities out there. Not to say it doesn't have its problems. I think that It's a great community to get to know people from all different facets of life in a very safe environment.
Yeah.
And this is my opinion, by the way. Disclaimer, this is my opinion. Everybody can have their own. But I think it's a great place for, diversity if you're looking for it. Mm-hmm. Not everybody looks for it, and that's fine. If it's not something that people are looking for, just don't poo-poo on those that represent that other facet, okay?
Right.
But if you're somebody that, hey, I've never met Black people. Hey, let me see. Okay, well, there's some channels out there. If you look for them that, feature Black people, be friends, be nice, same thing with like Asians and trans, just any sort of other, there's just a lot of populations that I think can help people. I feel like when we're reading, we're expanding our minds. We're part of a community that seeks that, whether it's one book or whether you read 300 in the year, right. You're expanding your minds in one way or another. So I think that when you are communicating with different type of people, that is adding to that expansion of your mind. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because not everybody chooses to do that. I know people that wallow in what they know and don't care to know anything else. And when you try to tell them, they continue to shut down.
Yeah.
I like about this community is that at least on the surface, people tend not to do that. And so I think that's really great.
Absolutely.
But I do enjoy the community. I enjoy it a lot. Just get involved, people. That's my main thing. I think getting involved is definitely the way where it's at. If your channel is not growing, this is my opinion, you might not be engaged with the community enough. And that's fine. It's not all about, like I said, it's not all about numbers, but you're putting out content, you want some feedback. If you're not getting that feedback, you might not be engaged as much with people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I know the other day I had insomnia, and I think it was like 4:00 or something. I talked about this on my sprints, and I surfed BookTube for like 3 hours. I looked at so many videos. I had last night I got home from work and I went through and I started looking at comments. I love comments, by the way, y'all. Get a heart emoji or comment or whatever, that's engagement. But I had like 150-ish reactions, I'll call it, that I had to go through. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot. But you know what really was nuts? This is the protect your psyche bit, right?
Yeah.
I lost a subscriber. I surfed BookTube for 3 hours. I looked at so many videos and I lost a subscriber. It's like, what in the world? But that is the whole thing of BookTube. I laughed at them.
Right. And again, that could have been a bot. That could have been somebody closing down their Google account. That could be anything. Like it didn't have to be an actual person. Like we don't know, which is nice that we don't know.
but it's engagement with other people's channels without expecting something different. I really wish that we could take that off, because to me, I look at all the facets of my channel when I decide to go to it, and the numbers are sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of annoying that it's there, because it's something that I have to notice each and every time, And I think it's a habit, because when you're a small channel just starting out, every one little number kind of helps validate you. Mm-hmm. And so you get into a pattern of that, looking at it every time. And so when I got into the whole thing of, I'm not worried about the numbers, whatever. Once I started getting people engaging in my channel and actually commenting, I looked more at what those comments are, so I can, because that to me is the engagement part that I enjoy. But looking at that number every time you go to it just kind of became a habit, and it's still there. And then people pointed out like, hey, I haven't celebrated, any of my, hey,
you can celebrate 500. You gonna celebrate 500?
I mean, well, I'm gonna do a video if I can ever get to it. I need to do some filming today.
Q&A.
It's about that. We'll see. I gotta put aside time and effort. I got a lot of other things I gotta do, but
ask people for questions, then you go on and answer them. That's all.
Maybe I'll do that. I'll do that.
That's an easy video.
Yeah, it's an easy video. Yeah.
We'll start answering the questions.
but I just, yeah, unless I don't get any questions, and that would
You will. You will. You will.
That's part of the self-doubt there.
I know.
But yeah, just look, engage in the community. That's one of the things that I really enjoy the most.
Same.
So
Definitely. Okay, tell us about your preferred genres for reading and what you're reading right now.
Ooh, well, it's taken me a while because I was all over the place, but I discovered fantasy when I got on BookTube. Why I never read fantasy before, I have no idea. I'm like, what have I been doing with my life? I definitely enjoy fantasy. Yeah. I enjoy what I call light fantasy.
I don't like fantasy.
Yeah, but some like I read a book. Oh my, it was an arc. I'll be talking about it in a few weeks, but I was just like, this is just way too much. But I like kind of a light fantasy that has like regular elements of our everyday lives. See, I think of magical realism kind of as like atmospheric. So I just think it depends on what's in your head. So light fantasy, magical realism, I like things like that. Yeah. But I love fantasy. I enjoy sci-fi if it's not too technical. I enjoy good mystery. I like romance, but I like romance sprinkled in with my fantasy and sci-fi and other stuff. I don't want a romance by itself because we already know they get together in the end unless you show them. I like things with a unique perspective. I will say that I enjoy and I tend to feature more people of color or just marginalized populations. Let's just say that more in my reading and what I choose to put on my channel. Yeah. Because that's something I haven't read throughout most of my life. And I've also, through the BookTube community, realized just how hard it is to get that voice in the mainstream. So, I know that I'm like this tiny minuscule in the whole grand scheme of influencer wise, but for my scope, that's what I want to profile on my channel. So that is what I do, but it's not to say I don't read authors, regular white authors. I do as well. Yeah. I do read some stuff. Like right now I'm reading stuff I'm not even profiling on my channel because I'm ahead. But right now I'm reading this.
Ooh, I love it.
I know. It's older. How old is this?
That's old school.
I know. It's crazy, but I've never read it. I started reading some graphic novels a few months back, and I actually enjoy them in between some other books that I read. What is this? This is 2000. My eyes are going bad, y'all. I can't see. What is this? 2000.
Swamp Thing is from like the 80s, I think.
It is. Well, this is 2015 DC Comics. Yeah.
Like I remember the movies.
I know. I love the movies too. Well, no, but it's pretty interesting. I just started this last night. I read like 3 graphics yesterday while I was at work. They were small. Nice. But I've always done written reviews. So BookTube is just a newer thing. So I'm just going to read this for fun and then write a review and then go on to some stuff I'm going to talk to y'all about.
Love it.
But yeah, I like fantasy. I like horror, although I haven't read much. I plan to read more horror next month. Isn't that horror month in May? Something like that.
I'm waiting like a prom date for an announcement video to come out for Horror Mayhem. I might just do a Horror Mayhem myself, but I'm waiting. Usually the Bookish Bryants do that one, and I haven't heard anything yet. And I'm like, come on, people, I got to get my books in line.
I know. Is that a specific YouTube channel? What I'm trying to say, Readathon? Because somebody told me about that, but I have not seen a YouTuber say, hey, this is my Readathon. I just heard May is horror month.
Yeah, Horror Mayhem, I think the first year it was last year, and that was created by the Bookish Bryants, and they had a whole bunch of co-hosts. And each week was themed. Each week had a different theme that you would, choose your books to match up with. And it was fantastic. And then, all of a sudden, here comes March, here comes April. And I'm like, wait, are we doing Horror Mayhem this year? I haven't heard anything. So waiting like a prom date on an announcement video. But hopefully it will, because I'm looking forward to reading more horror. That's for sure.
We don't want to soil that prom dress. Come on, y'all. If you're
I know.
put it out. Put it out. Got to put it on BookTube bulletin board.
Yes.
I know I wrote it on there because I heard it was, but it's still blank because I didn't know any details. So
yeah, no, they haven't
know.
said anything. So maybe I'll like reach out and be like, hey, is this going on? Because there's a bunch of us that want to read horror in May.
There's so many good readathons in May. When I was putting together the BookTube bulletin board spreadsheet thing, I was writing it on there. I was like, hold up, I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna have to double, triple, quadruple some slots, but I still need to get that together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff.
And there's new ones that are popping up all the time. Like there was a new announcement just the other day for something. I don't even remember what it was, but I saved it and I'm like, oh, gotta add that to the list.
It is hard to pinpoint. TBRs are a lot of work. That's something I participate in readathons every now and then, but I don't do it every month. It's like something has to really resonate with me before I because it's a lot of work and I have to there's certain content I want to read. And so I'm trying to figure out how to piecemeal what I want to read with a readathon, and sometimes it doesn't match up. But if I participate in a readathon, then I'm gonna be like, okay, what else can I add? What's another readathon I can add to make this all match together? It's showing support for the readathons. I really enjoy that in the community. That's something I didn't really know about when I first started. Hey, we're bonding together and reading books around this, and then. I like a good buddy read every now and then.
Absolutely.
Get together with other people reading too. So fun community, fun times, y'all.
I know. And then the crazy thing that happens is that the Agatha and April that I came up with came out of one of these. We were all just chit-chatting about what people were reading. And I think it was Jim from Jim's Bookish, from Jim's books reading and stuff. Oh. He said, I'm reading Agatha Christie. I said, I've never read an Agatha Christie in my life. And I said, maybe I should. I said, maybe I should do it in April. Maybe I should pick a weekend. And here, all these other people are like, I've never read Agatha. And I'm like, here we go. We're creating our own thing and we're just going with it. And that's
there
it.
There you go.
And that's what I love about it is like, if you have an idea and you want to do something, just do it. Just do it. There's no rules.
That is true. I created a readathon last December. It was called Holiday Havocathon of crazy book, non-traditional books around the holidays. And that came about at my sprints. I was speaking with, I'm so blessed. I have such amazing people that attend my sprints on Tuesday, 11 a.m. EST. I always got to plug that. But I have a core group of people that tend to come each and every time. And then there's people that kind of pop in and out, which I appreciate everybody that attends in one fashion or another. But we were getting together and talking about a readathon. Now, it started as smutty books. Okay. I wasn't on board with that, but I was on board with some of it. But, and all of a sudden it just materialized into a little readathon. I mean, it was a small one in the grand scheme, but I still had a lot of fun with it. So you never know until you put it out into the universe of what comes back to you.
Right. And all good. Hopefully all good.
Yes.
So let's talk about things that you want to promote. So absolutely, Courtney, you are like, appointment sprint viewing for sure. For sure. So tell everybody when you're available for sprinting.
Okay, so I'm available. Tuesdays is my day because of all the day. I'm in healthcare, so my schedule is all over the place. But Tuesday is the one day I know I do not work. So I do Tuesday sprints at 11 a.m. EST. That's for USA people. Every Tuesday. It takes a lot for me not to be there. Okay. Yeah. I'm a consistent gal here. I may be late, but I'm going to be there. Right. So 11 a.m. Starting next month, whenever the weather starts getting nicer, we're going to do it outside. And generally we're talking and reading for about 3 to 4 hours is the time frame. I also do on Thursdays, I do sprints with friends at 5:30 p.m. EST. Right now it's like 3 of us. I am going to start. I want to think of a name, y'all. So if y'all think of a name for me, just, go to my channel and put it in the little comments there because I'm not going to remember it now. And but we are potentially looking for like a rotating guest host thing. That's what we've been discussing. So, but it's myself and at Nell Diamond and Sister Harlem's Library. Great folks.
Yes.
And so that's my 2 dedicated sprint days. Thursday, sometimes I got to work, so I may rotate that another time or another day, or either it'll be on Nell Diamond's channel. I have videos that I'm trying to be consistent on having come out on Saturday as a dedicated video Saturday mornings. And then I may put out like maybe another day during the week. And then I do, tags every now and then, but I try not to upload all the time because it just gets kind of old for me. But Saturdays, definitely, you will get a video from me on Saturday morning.
Awesome. All
right. Around.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to ignore anybody in the chats now because they have had some conversations while we were talking. So I'm not going to scroll back because there's just so many. If anybody has a question for Courtney or about BookTube in general, ask it now. But I'll scroll back and see if there's anything that we might have missed.
I saw somebody said they read Peter Jelly Clark, Ring Shout. Awesome book. Lots of stuff, lots of content.
Cool. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back. Let's go back in time. We're in time travel. All right. Oh, people are talking. Hello. Okay. Jess showed up, said good morning.
Hello.
Definitely have a fun, great vibe. I adore your channel. William said, I just realized using my old channel in the chat. Oops. People saying hello. My patio is my jam. Summer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. Saying hello.
Mother Nature rocks, y'all. I love it.
Yes. Our weather's been great, Courtney, too.
I know. That was kind of muggy today. What's going on?
I think the cold front's coming in. Yeah. I think William says, I was thinking about using my own face for cover art for the book I'm writing.
Ooh.
Try an experimental selfie. There you go.
There you go.
Rebecca Jones, you can appreciate others, but you got this.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Rebecca Jones. That's me, sister. How you doing, girl? I'm going to call you later.
Let's see. Al, good day. Sorry, I'm late. Timely is my current read, Paul Tillich. The courage to be. That includes the courage to care for others as well as ourselves. Rebecca says self-growth is everything. Crystal has to go. She said goodbye. Jess said with my TBR, I throw in 1 classic a month. That's great. Should do that more often. Al says being treated as an it in the book that helped me understand how people judge was one of my first reads and thus first book review. Nice.
Ooh, that's not good.
I agree. BookTube has a greater degree of caring and insightful people, but that does not mean there are no black swans. Philosophy reference. Okay. Quentin showed up, said, hey, yo. Jim says, don't forget to boop the like button. Thanks, Jim.
Boop,
boop. Bart's Book Space. He's a brand new booktuber. Bookish people have perhaps a certain sensibility that translates us into being, on average, more empathetic. Also, the platform is more conducive to that as opposed to, for example, Twitter. Yeah, it's definitely a less toxic platform than Twitter.
Protect your psyche, people.
That's right.
Always.
T-shirt. That needs to be on a T-shirt. It's been about a week, so I could say I have at least viewed a video or a short, just one view. Books almost mandate a community to discuss. Books do not allow you to interact, and when they stir passions, we want to share that. Yes. Al says 95% of my views are non-subs, but I understand. I'm in that 5%, Al. I listen to your stuff a lot. There are many who want to watch not signed in or embedded views shows as unsubbed, I guess. Pebbles. Well, this is the Neato Burrito.
That's my other sister. Shout out, Miss Peb.
Nice. Right by Fred. Reaching out is important, not just to build your community, but to support others. Supporting channels by liking, commenting, subscribing goes a long way in helping people succeed on BookTube. Absolutely. Rebecca says it will or it won't. Read by Fred. Very true, Courtney. Put out content you want to see and engage in the community. Great advice. Jim says it's a great community, although there is some tea at times. Every community's got something. Coda says only when I'm out of coffee. Oh, yesterday, I realized an additional benefit from BookTube. It will allow many to learn about books and reading. Maybe they will try it out. At least they can learn the lessons. Yeah. Jim says, good one, Coda. William says, engage. You mean join more sprints, subscribe, and watch others more? Yeah, that's what we mean.
All of it.
Yeah. William says, it's been more than a month since my subscriber count grew. Al, recent poll showed 73% said a book in any form. Of those, the average was 12 to 15 books per year, yet the bulk of readers that read 33 to 55 books a year, telling that 10% of readers do 90% of the reading. I would agree. I probably would agree. Hell, with these polls today.
Yeah, I love it.
Recent polls showed 73% said read a book in any form. Of those, the average was 12 to 15. Oh, we did this one already. I like fantasy, but don't like committing to series. Yeah, I'm a non-committal series person too.
Me too. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fantasy is about several books in a series. Yeah. Courtney says, try Piranesi by Susan Clark if you haven't read it. That is a good book. That's kind of magical realism. I'm reading P. Jaley Clark, a fantasy author of color. I loved Ring Shout, and now I'm reading A Master of Jinn set in steampunk Cairo. That sounds good, Jim. Alice says, my reading has benefited immensely by watching channels speak about books I would never consider reading. Some of my newest favorites came from left field. Yeah.
Agree.
Ooh la la, French girl, May Horror Month. Yes, please. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit up some people and say, like, what's going on with that? Read by Fred says, the bookish Brian's haven't posted in a while. Hope everything is okay. Well, I hope everything is okay too.
He needs a co-host to take over that.
Yeah. Phew. My want to read list is growing faster than my ability to read. So many great recommendations from BookTube. That's the problem of being a reader, right? Pebbles says, I read a 4-book series in 4 years. Only read at the dock. Still can't believe I was able to pick it up right where I left off. Yeah, I get that. I
progress.
Get that. Yeah. Jim says, smutty books might lose you subscribers. Might gain you subscribers.
Yeah, might gain me some subscribers. I have subscribed to some channels because they talked about some smutty books. I wasn't going to read them, but I wanted to know.
There you go. Pebble says, headed to Galveston, but this was awesome. Bye, y'all.
The beach. Have fun.
Jim says, I mentioned Ring Shout. Yes. Jess says, Courtney, what is your favorite book so far this year?
Ooh, conundrum. Let's see. I know last year was Finding Me by Viola Davis. That might also be tied with Bad Fat Black Girl. I talk about that book all the time. This year, oh my gosh, what would I say is my favorite book?
Did you do the quarter year tag yet?
No, I haven't.
That answer's in the tag.
I don't know. I read a graphic novel called Genius last month. Was it last month? Anyway, last few weeks that I thought was awesome. I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. It was not this one though. Okay,
fifth season.
Fifth season. I wanted to. I thought it'd be amazing. It was good, but not what I thought it would be. So I don't know. I did enjoy Clay's arc by Octavia Butler, though. That one was a really good one.
Nice. Read by Fred. Courtney, non-book question. What is your favorite holiday? You can only pick one.
I don't think I have a favorite holiday. I'm going to say I like summer. I don't have a favorite holiday.
All the holidays in summer.
Just put, no, I won't say 4th of July is my favorite holiday. So we're not going to put that one in there. But I will say, no, I like the summer. Let's just take that as one full holiday.
Book Blather just popped in to chat about smutty books.
There we go. That's
looks like I was missing a good conversation. Oh, Dave and Olive, you're so cute. Jess says, I love Viola Davis and How to Get Away with Murder. That was a great show. Anthony says summer's my favorite holiday too. Anthony, you always have the best answers. Coda says, I count summer as a holiday. I'm right there with you, Courtney. That's it. New holiday. It's summer, baby.
There we go.
Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Any specific BookTuber questions? Anything like that? Feel free to ask. This has been wonderful.
What is your favorite holiday, MJ?
It's kind of a toss-up. I do love Halloween, but I think I love Christmas even more because I'm a winter girl. So I like the I don't know. I like the vibe Christmas gives you.
Nice holiday vibes. I think
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Halloween's awesome.
I like Halloween if I can do stuff. Historically, I have not done stuff. So that's where I guess my enjoyment is probably lacking.
Mm-hmm. I like watching, well, we used to have a lot of kids in the neighborhood to dish out candy to, and it all kind of went by the wayside over the last couple of years. But man, the costumes that some of them would come up with, it was just awesome. Just awesome. I love it.
Some of these kids go parents, I will say, go all out and do a really great job.
Yeah. They always get extra candy, extra whatever. Like, honestly,
see, I think my thing is that we didn't grow up with a lot of money. So we never had costumes, couldn't afford them. So, I felt like I was not able to participate to the fullest extent when it came to Halloween, like when I was a kid. So, I mean, I enjoy the candy aspect. So maybe that is my favorite just by default because, people from work don't want to have all that candy at home. So they bring it to work and I get to eat it.
Al has a question. Let's see. Al, here's a question. A review centered on why you love the book, how it changed your perspective on life or others, why some people learn a language for a book or author, but never say why they love. So a review centered on why you love the book. Is that what you're saying, Al?
Review centered on how it changed your perspective on life. I'm thinking of why some people learn a language for a book or author, but never say why they love it. Learn a language. I've never learned a language for a book. I did attempt when I was way younger. I attempted to teach myself sign language during the summer. I learned how to spell my name, and then I lost interest.
Can I just tell you? This is a true story. There is an account on TikTok, and he is deaf, and he does American Sign Language, and he tells you all of the nasty ways to sign. Like he will tell you where to go, how to do it, and it's awesome. He'll teach it to you. It's slow, and then it's live action. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic.
That's what people do when they learn another language. You go to the dirty words, at least for me. Maybe I'm just special, but you go to the dirty words first, So he is right on cue with
I'm telling you. He did one last week, and I didn't take time to learn it, but it's not today's Satan. And I need to get going with that.
But you're talking about a review center. Oh, I don't know if he was asking us this question or not, but you're talking about how it changed your perspective on life or others. There is a book for me. Actually, there's two books. There's a book called Bad Fat Black Girl that I talk about it all the time. I just think because it was so unique, but it is called Bad Fat Black Girl, Notes from a Trap Feminist. It's by, she was a entertainment reporter for like hip hop, Cecily Bowen. And it's an awesome book, right? But it talks about how beauty standards in life are set by cis. That's another term I learned. Cis, like CIS, like you're basically identified with the gender you're born in. So it's set by cis white men, right? And I thought that was pretty interesting because, they kind of rule the world, or at least the US, right? But she talks about how being a Black female and being she talks about, what does she call herself? Kind of like a box, because she's a big girl and she has like an odd shape. She calls herself bad built. Really kind of harsh on herself. But she's also a realist, which I appreciate, somebody that just tells you like it is without trying to sugarcoat and make things palatable to other people. But she talks about like beauty standards and how she doesn't fit the mold, and about how women tend to tear other women down, but we should be our biggest allies, and about how like we tend to judge other women. It was just such an amazing book. Like, yeah, she's crass, she cusses a lot, not necessarily my taste. I didn't recognize a lot of the hip-hop references because I'm not a huge hip-hop person, but it was just a really good book about talking about the biasnesses that we have in society as a whole, but also against other people and female against female, and what drives that. And it so changed my opinion about how I view people when I'm starting to feel like I'm going to judge them. And that's from a few different perspectives, but I really did enjoy that book, which is why I talk about it so much, because it forced me to check myself. And I continue to reference that because sometimes we need that reality check that too many times people don't want to give themselves. They want to call themselves an ally, but don't really know what that means.
Right.
And so that was an amazing book. And, but it's not one for everybody. If you can get past kind of the exterior and some of the crassness of some of the language used, you can benefit, especially as females, from it. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people can get past that, but awesome book. And then another book that I read that I won't necessarily, it changed my opinion, but it kind of validated some stuff. And I talk about it a lot, especially with like a lot of white people that I come across, because I tend to go into like with work and stuff. I'm in a lot of circles where it's probably a lot more white people than blacks. And it's called White Fragility. And I featured this in November for Nonfiction November. And it is a book talking about racism by a white lady. And I've never seen that perspective of racism legitimately spoken about from a white person before. And it validated every single thing I've ever felt about how I felt about how white people view racism. No, hold on. Well, hold on. What I'm trying to say. It validated what I thought about racism, but about how I think that how white people contribute to it.
Okay.
But it was very just interesting to see it from a white person's standpoint, because I think that while I don't know how popular it is, but I think that, I mean, of course, that's something that's near and dear to my heart because I've experienced that and I judged on it. But seeing it from another perspective was interesting. And I talk to that a lot because I work with a coworker that very much could benefit. And I know a lot of other people that could benefit. I know people in my family that could benefit from reading a book like that. Will they? No. And speaking to them, I reference it a lot because I really want to urge, but you can't make people read.
No.
But it was just such an eye-opening book. So if anybody wants to kind of think about race relations in America and about why we think the way we do, and even some sexism things, it's an amazing book that if you're apprehensive about reading books regarding racism or whatever from a Black perspective, reading it from a white perspective may change it. So, because she talks about like people and allies and how some people don't realize they're contributing to some issues that we have.
Right.
But and don't realize that they are contributing to it, or so it's just a really good book. So anyway, that just got me to thinking about when he asked that question about things that changed my point of view. Those two books probably were really, really amazing and instrumental.
Love it. Let's see. Jim's books, reading and stuff. What are your thoughts on if you're over editing Ronald Dahl and other dead authors after sensitivity readers have suggested changes? What are your thoughts on that, Courtney?
Okay, I don't know Ronald or Rold. I'm assuming that's Ronald Dahl. But I think the world as a whole is way too darn sensitive. I know everybody wants to have their point of view. And I get it. We want representation. I'm all for it. I hate that people fight against representation because having one person or two people in the masses does not it doesn't threaten your sensibilities, but some people feel threatened when you walk into the room by your mere presence. I get that. I've experienced that. But I don't believe in editing something that's already been put out there. I'm hoping I'm answering that without exactly knowing what you're talking about. But people need to let things go and open up a conversation and listen to the conversation and learn from it instead of trying to overpower it to fit the narrative they want.
Yeah. And I also think on that subject that the industry, the publishing industry, sees dollar signs, and that's why, that's why it continues.
It's probably with the whole banning of the books and all that stuff. But it's interesting, though, that the publishing industry is so sensitive to stuff, but they have only benefited from people talking about these books controversially. It's same thing with like even look at the amount of books by minorities that have been published. I think social media has been very instrumental in seeing, hey, look, you didn't want to publish a book by this, let's say, person of color author, but these people of color are saying we want to read that story. Like N.K. Jemisin with the 5th season, her whole Broken Earth trilogy. I remember seeing an interview with her about that, and she was told to her face, nobody wants to read a story by Black characters. I do. Yeah, I want to see me in a book.
Absolutely.
I never saw myself in a book unless it was in a very downtrodden light until I was an adult. It might have made a huge difference if I saw myself in books. It might make a huge difference if queer people saw themselves in books. If you don't like it, then don't pick it up. But people are trying to censor folks, and I think all you're going to get is backlash. But anyway,
Al says, is this an underserved area in BookTube? What? I don't know.
Are we talking about that sensitivity thing?
I don't know. All right, we'll circle back on that, Al. James Joyce did, Patton did, Pete Buttigieg did, also says the same, that they learned a language to read books.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I guess that is what I mean, how it changed your perspective. I credit Webb Dubois for teaching me that when others see you one way, but you see yourself another, that this can be disenfranchising. Read by Fred, do you reread books, Courtney? If so, which one book do you go back to read the most?
I'm about to lose subscriberships on this one.
Why?
I don't normally reread books.
No.
However, back in the day when I didn't, this was pre-BookTube, like a long time ago. And when I didn't really have access to books and I didn't have Kindle Unlimited, 50 Shades of Grey, I reread 5 times.
It is what it is. You're not going to lose any subscribers.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I own up to it. Like the first book I read 5 times. The others I read, like the other 2 in the series I read like 3 times. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like the book or the movie, trashy, but not my favorite. But I did enjoy the books for what they are. So
absolutely,
the first one was amazing though.
I think I like the second one better than the first one, but I bought it, I read it.
Yeah. I spent my dollars. I didn't even have Kindle Unlimited. I spent my dollars. That's $10 each. That's $30. That's a lot for my cheap tail. I'm on a budget, y'all. I stay in New Jersey. I got to save some dollars. I'm going to the library today. That was before, so that meant a lot.
And you know what? It's crazy. Like I was in grad school, right? And like when you're in grad school, you have 0 time to read anything because you're just focused on doing whatever you gotta do. And then as soon as grad school ended, I'm like, God, now I get to read what I want to read. And I wasn't too sure what to like go back to. Twilight. I binged that whole series. That Twilight is what brought me back to books back in 2008. Honest to God, right hand up to God. And I loved every single book. Loved it. Al says, Dubois mentioned his distress that who got involved and ruined the movement that was 100 years ago. I don't know who you're talking about, Al. Times change, things remain the same. Yes. Ooh la la. I view sanitizing books akin to banning books. I do not agree with it. Yeah, if you want to do something with it, put a sticker on it, but give me the option to read the original version, you know?
I agree. I agree.
For it. Alice says, I argue that these problematic books could use footnotes to explain the language or issues to explain context and give strings to pull the book further without changing the art. Yeah.
I agree. You can't change it once it's out there.
I think that could be a fair way to handle it. I do not believe that books should be completely rewritten to avoid hurt feelings. Yeah.
That's a waste of money with so many other books that are waiting to be written and published.
JR's here. It's like the ship of Thesis. How much can you change a book before it's not the author's book anymore? Right.
True.
Agreed. It's a slippery slope in many regards. I just looked up White Fragility and added it to the TBR. Thanks.
That was good. And it's a short book, too.
Christopher, do you have to reread it 50 times to see all the shades?
No, just 49. I was bored. I was in school at the time. I needed some mindless smut and it fit the bill.
That's why I love trash so much. You don't have to find a hidden meaning. You don't have to look for, alliteration or anything like that. You just read it and put it down, and that's it. That's why.
But you know what? A book that I have not read is making its rounds on BookTube. Ice Planet Barbarians, right? That's some smutty book about aliens capturing some women and put them on another planet, and then they're hooking up with aliens. Whatever. Anyway, it sounds like mindless smut. The cover looks like mindless smut. However, it has some serious themes. I hate when a smutty book turns serious. It's like, come on now, just give me another sex scene. Why are we so? And everyone is different. I have not read it, but Heather's Heroes and Heroines is another awesome Booktube channel.
Yeah.
She read a lot of them, and she does like 2-3 minute reviews of a lot of the books that she reads with some minimal spoilers, but definitely spoilers of the main themes. Mm-hmm. I saw like 20 of her videos the other day. I put them on, which I learned from her. You can speed up the
playback
video. Yeah, I didn't realize that up until like a month ago. So now I watch a whole lot more BookTube in a short amount of time. But I've watched like in a row. I just put her stuff on a playlist on like 1.5, 1.75 speed and just listen to all these synopses. And I'm like, this is way more serious than I thought for the smut.
Yeah. That's like hidden smut.
Yeah.
Not with the hidden meaning.
But they were good though. But I'm just saying, sometimes they put a little bit too much into a smutty book. Like it's either smut or it's not. No, there's way in between, but still. You can't give me 20 sex scenes and then give me a serious themes. It don't work that way.
Right. Coda says smut. I knew it. Get it, girl. Ain't nothing wrong with juice.
It's a while since I read a smutty book, y'all.
J.R. Carroll, a great example is James Joyce's Ulysses. The publisher made corrections and the meaning the author meant was lost for a generation. Oh boy. Yeah, definitely. Has using an e-reader changed your reading habits in any way, Courtney?
I read more. I like that I don't have to have a bunch of physical books, which I don't. Mm-hmm. However, I will say in recent times, since I utilize my library, I actually am very apprehensive to e-read again because I enjoy a physical book. So if I can get it from my library, that will change my TBR versus me reading on an ebook.
Okay.
Except for my ARCs, because nobody's sending me, checking for me for a physical e-ARC. So, but they will send me a digital copy in a minute. So I read those on that. I've actually canceled my Kindle Unlimited membership since I started using the library because I wasn't using it for a while.
There you go. Jim says the far right burn books, the far left alter books. Both are unwanted. Both slow the power of books and how dangerous they can be to those with closed minds. That's a good observation now, Jim. Alice says the opposite of stranger in a strange land, a smartish book turned into smut halfway. JR says, reading should be fun, especially in fantasy. I don't try to figure out why the author made the curtains red, LOL. Right.
I agree. I'm not one of those super, like, I think school burned me on the whole analyzation and critical thinking of books. I don't want to do that. I'm not that girl. I'm reading it for fun. So I may miss some stuff, but you're not watching my channel for an in-depth, introspective view. Like, I'll get out the major themes, but you need to go to one of those other unsmarted, intellectual channels or whatever, if that's what you're trying to get from some books.
Williams Library. I've read smut fan fiction, hilarious stuff. Coda says, in high school, I loved Catherine Coulter's first couple FBI books, Sexy Mysteries. I haven't read any more of them, but I've been collecting them for over 20 years, and I'm gonna at some point. Garbagus, that's when you need to.
I was like a blog.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any more comments or questions? Feel free to post now, or else we'll start wrapping up. What you got going on this weekend, Courtney?
I'm working. Oh, I tend to work a lot of weekends. It leaves me a lot of time earlier during the week. But no, I volunteered. I know, isn't that horrible? I volunteered to work tomorrow, which was my day off.
Okay. Making that bank.
Yeah, that's true.
Jim says there was a tale of how Vonnegut looked at a university exam on one of his books and couldn't answer half the questions. Oh gosh, that would be a nightmare for an author. Woo, good Lord. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. We've been chit-chatting for an hour and a half. This has been fantastic.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me on. It has been fun.
Thanks so much for coming on. Oh, Jim says it's Easter weekend in Georgia, the country. Well, happy Easter if you are celebrating. Wonderful. All right. Well, I guess we're going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks for everyone that's going to be watching on the replay. Feel free to leave comments down below. Make sure that you subscribe to Courtney's channel, Tangible Reads. Make sure that you check out her reading sprints, reading and productivity. They are a heck of a lot of fun. Take it from me. And let's see, we got some final comments here. Dave said, have a great weekend. You too. Christopher says, hey, thanks. Can't wait to check out your graphic novel Rex. Al says, have an awesome weekend. Jim says, thanks for the entertainment. You're quite welcome. We hope people got value out of these conversations, and we hope, there's some useful information too. Bye, everyone. Off to read some Agatha. Me too. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. We will see you in our next videos. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please give a like. Feel free to subscribe. These interviews are going to be ongoing. And if you have any favorite booktubers that you would like me to attempt to interview, let me know in the comment section down below. I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I will see you in my next video, whether that be sooner or later. So until next time, everyone, goodbye for now.